Well, good afternoon, and welcome to the July 27th MACC Policy Board meeting. Judy, if you call the roll, please.
Okay. Hannes Myers, Terry Nienhuis, Howard Bauman, Joe Bauman, Tom Bird, Ken DeWeert, Jerry Huntsberger, John Kleinhaxel, Kevin Kleinstra, Don Mayo, Jim Story, Russ Tisla, Lisa Hookwater, Todd Walters, Tyler Kent from MACC, Mara Garricky from MACC, Kelly Goward, Carolyn Osted, Rob Bink, Judy Vischer, Jim Kamiga, and Tyler Kent from MDOT. Did I miss anyone who's on the line or on the meeting Zoom? Okay, I think we got it.
Thanks, Judy. Anyone with any public comments for the meeting this afternoon? All right, seeing none. Environmental programming?
We'll want to approve last month's minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Approval of the June, there's two sets of meetings, correct, Carolyn? June 8th and then was it the 18th?
I thought there was just one meeting that we'd have to vote on.
Well,
Was there a second?
We had the special meeting.
Oh, the special meeting, yeah.
The special meeting.
Thank you.
So what was the date on that one, Carolyn? I can't recall.
That would have been,
The 18th, correct?
yeah, I think the 18th.
Yeah. So is there a motion to approve both the June 8th and the June 18th minutes for the MACC Policy Board?
I'd make that motion.
I'll second it.
And who was that for the first
Jerry.
and second?
Terry?
Terry. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Public comments? Anyone have anything to speak with regard to from the public? Don't believe there's anyone on the phone. All right, we'll close the public comment section of today's meeting. Environmental programming, Rob?
All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Carolyn, are you able to put the slides up there?
Yep, I will share my screen and your slide is up. Can you see it there?
I can, yeah.
Great, let me know and I'll flip through.
All right, well, yeah, once again, good afternoon. It's been a while since you've all gotten to hear an agricultural update from me. So if we could progress, Carolyn. So despite having not heard from me in quite a while, it doesn't mean we haven't been doing some things. So this past spring, we did, with a cost share from Project Clarity and an Eagle 319 grant, we're able to put some funding towards about 836 acres. There we go, of no-till. A lot of these acres were in and around the West Michigan Regional Airport, throughout Fillmore Township and also Lake Town Township. So not typically in our the area where we've been focusing on. So it's nice to have some participating farmers in some different areas. So throughout this summer, we've been working on a Great Lakes Commission grant, GLC grant, to implement around 1,450 acres of cover crops. We have about 1,000 of those acres verbally committed. And we're also working to identify some locations for grass waterways. We have 3 good locations now, just working to connect with some absentee landowners and also to get designs put together for those waterways. Next slide, please. So one of the projects that we've been working on here now for around about 3.5 years is a 2-stage cattle crossing in Zeeland Township. So you can see here, this is a cattle pasture and some pretty extensive erosion going on the banks here. Cattle were allowed to cross the stream at any location, able to stand in the water. And what we did was a 2-stage channel came through and knocked the banks down. Carolyn, if you could progress the slide here. So another one you can see from a different angle. The two gentlemen up there are staff from Nice Wander Environmental working to stake out the bank shelf. Carolyn, if you could progress it. Same stream location facing the other way. You can see that cut bank there. Big floodplain shelf right in the middle of that picture on the bottom right. Next slide, please. So beginning construction, Conan from the Zealand area were the contractors selected on this project. They did an excellent job. Starting the first cut here, this is the morning that we started construction. We ended up moving a bit more dirt than what we had expected, but I think overall they did a nice job. Finishing it out, making it look nice. So from the other direction, you can see it doesn't look that nice at this time. A lot of dirt moved. Next slide. And then finishing up with putting down the blanketing seed, and we did end up putting a lot of straw down on some of the slopes that were further up the hillside there. We hadn't expected to move too much dirt up there, but ended up putting it there and decided the best thing to do would be to get the seed down and put straw on there. That was done on a Friday. That was 2 weeks ago. We had 1.25 inches rainfall that weekend, Saturday night to Sunday morning. And a lot of the straw stayed, and we had Monday morning, we had seed germinating and growing already. It was neat to see. So next slide. So finishing up here with all the straw down, you can see we had all the banks reconstructed here. Flood bench has been blanketed, and then the straw on the banks. Looking the other way, similar. It's a big change from what we had previously with the eroded banks. Next slide, Carolyn. So this is the livestock crossing. This was the portion of the project that was permitted through Eagle. And one of the things that took some of the time was getting that permit approved. We had to go through permit modification, made those changes with the engineer, resubmitted the grant or the permit. And it took close to 6 months to get that back. So Eagle did refund some of our money because they had not met the deadline for permitting, which was nice, but we would have liked to have gotten this project done sooner than what we did, but it's done now. I think that's it for these slides, Carolyn. If you go to the next one. So nice panoramic picture of the whole project. Are there any questions on this one? All right. I think there was one more slide in there, Carolyn. If we could see that for one more
Bring it back
project. Okay.
Rob, could I just ask?
Sure.
You told us how many acres are involved. How many individual farmers would that be?
On the no-till acres, that was between two farmers only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
made it easy for me to find two guys that were willing to do around 400 acres each.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so I think I'm going to talk about this one too. I think Kelly knows a little bit about this also. This is a stream bank restoration project in Holland Township, designed by Holland Engineering, funded through Great Lakes Commission grant, same grant program that the two-stage was funded through two different projects though. So June 29, the bid was advertised, and July 6, we were able to have a pre-bid meeting. We had several guys, several contractors submit bids, and July 17, we had a public bid opening, and project team did recommend 28 specialties from Holland to complete this project. So I believe we need to have approval from the board to enter into contract with 28 specialties for an amount not to exceed $56,700. Kelly, if you have anything to add to that, feel free to chime in.
No, I think you covered it quite well. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
All right, can we have a motion to approve the contract with 28 Specialties?
Story, so moved.
Was that Terry?
No, Jim Story.
Jim
Jim.
Story. Thank you.
Jim, can I get a second on that?
I'll support that, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. All in favor, please do by saying aye. Excuse me.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, well, thank you. I wanted to thank both Rob and Kelly for all their efforts and work on these projects. They do take quite a long bit of time to apply for the grant, receive those grants, and then work with our partners, work with the farmers, educating them on the programs that are available, as well as with our partners with ODC, Project Clarity, for their support as well. So I want to thank the team again for all their efforts. It's amazing to go out and see a project with a bank the way that it was, and then a week later, new grass is being grown, and the stream has been redesigned. So thank you for all your efforts, Rob and Kelly.
Yeah, no problem.
Alrighty, on to the next agenda item, transportation programming.
Okay, yeah, so today we have another tip amendment. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what was also added into the agenda packet. And then that helps, I think, with following along. So the first job on this list is going to be a new one being added to the tip. It's for a bridge replacement over Byron Road that goes over the Black River. And I think this one we've been looking forward to. I think there's some weight restrictions right now on this bridge, so it'll be good to get it replaced and being able to take a heavier load. So that's a new one being added. The second one, that's an MDOT project as well. There's going to be a bridge replacement / culvert replacement over the Kuiper's Drain with the 196 US 31 southbound project. This one is going to have a phased budget that's increasing by about $600,000. I believe the story behind this one is when the job was originally programmed, the budget wasn't there to do, I think, the type of culvert that they wanted initially. But with funds becoming available, I think that they were able to switch the type of culvert on this. So it's a better culvert for this kind of project. I think that was the story behind that. Third one down, third and fourth, it's the same project. It's the engineering and the construction phase. So both of these phases are increasing in budget. For ITS, I'm not exactly sure which types of signalization or technology this is. Possibly when we do the MDOT comments, if someone knows, they can chime in. But an increased budget there for the US 31 project. And then, let's see here. The next one is the MACC Transit, Transit Capital. This one's going to be a new one added into the tip. MACC Transit was awarded a grant that will give them, I believe, 4 electric shuttle buses and 2 charging stations. So really exciting, getting some new type of technology in the Holland area. And then the next one down, the last one on this sheet, MACC Transit, and I can actually, I'll scroll a bit, you can see this. So we've got a MACC Transit's operating job here. And if you see, that's a 5307 categorized job. The last one is a Transit Capital, also 5307. So what MACC Transit is doing, they are reducing their budget from operating, and they're able to put that into the capital because it's the same job type. And that will allow them to do some extra investments on the capital side. I think they want to add in some more shelters. And the reason why they're able to, I believe, reduce some of the operating costs is because of the CARES Act. I believe will be able to assist them with operating, and that's why they can shuffle around some money. I know, Lisa, you are on the line. Did you want to talk anything and add some more detail about your projects here?
Carolyn, you did a great job describing that. That's exactly right. We were encouraged by FTA to use all of the federal funding, and this is an opportunity that we probably will never have again. So we're adding shelters, additional vehicles, and with social distancing, we know that we won't be able to carry as many passengers per vehicle. So having additional passenger vans and buses will be really important.
Great.
So,
Lisa, when are you expecting to get the electric shuttles delivered?
yeah, so that's actually a grant that we worked on with MDOT and many other transit agencies. So it's a statewide project, and we're expecting that to be completed in 22.
Okay,
So
that's gonna be exciting. We'll have to do
yeah.
some sort of, some sort of a rollout or, big presentation on the new shuttles.
Sounds great.
Yeah, great. That's all I have for amendments. Any question on those? All right. Tyler, if you want to ask for, yeah.
Yeah, is there a motion to approve the tip amendments as proposed?
Jerry would move that motion.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. Is there a second on that motion?
Kevin seconds it.
Thank you, Kevin. All in favor, please do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, well, thank you for the support. Thank you, Alyssa, for all your efforts with those programs and public transportation. All right. Any comments from MDOT or Federal Highway? Don, Tyler?
I don't have anything right now.
Thanks, Don. Tyler, do you have anything? All righty.
He has none, but his microphone's not working.
Okay.
All righty, on to administrative issues. MDOT is requesting the approval of the master agreement between the MACC and MDOT. Pretty much that entails the MACC's responsibility for the UWP and the TIP process. We have to enter into this agreement, I think it's roughly every 3 years, to ensure that we're providing those documentations as well as providing public outreach and input. So I asked for your support in the resolution for this agreement. Is there any questions with regards to it? I think the last time it was approved was in 2018.
Removes the approval of the resolution.
Thank you, Tom. Can I get a second on that motion?
Jerry will second it.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. All in favor, please do so by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. All right, well, thank you. Included in the packet of information is a financial report for the last month. Any questions or comments with regard to that report? All righty. I'll move on to the executive committee notes here. So we met 2 weeks ago. A couple of things I want to update the policy board. One, the strategic plan. I've got penciled in with Al Vandenberg on his schedule, the strategic plan taking place on August 26th. Still working on the time and the location. We thought about trying to conduct that meeting at the Halleck Civic Center, but because of the current executive order, it limits us to 10 people inside the building. So we looked at a couple different options. Boatworks is another option that I'm looking at. I hope to meet with them this week. They've got some outdoor space available now. So I will let the full policy board know exactly when that's going to take place. But at this point, please pencil in August 26th for that meeting, which is a Wednesday. Presented. Is there any questions or comments with regard to that? Okay. I presented to the executive committee a purchase policy agreement. Looking through our records, I couldn't find one for the MACC. Thought it was important that we had one. I believe that we're following the procedures, but I wanted to have something in writing. So it's included in the minutes here and was approved by the executive committee. Depending upon the cost of the product that we're looking to purchase, there's requirements for either going through an RFP process or getting 3 proposals, depending upon those costs. So we will follow, staff will follow those policy requirements moving forward. Thirdly, it didn't appear as though we had an attorney representing the MACC. That's important when we're signing some of these agreements and policies for the review of an attorney. So I reached out to a couple local attorneys and chose Attorney Donkersloot to represent the MACC and review policies, procedures, and contracts as needed. And then finally, for the August policy board meeting, we'd like to have that meeting conducted at Lawrence Street Park in Zeeland. We tried to schedule that for this month, but unfortunately there was a conflict. Someone had already reserved that space, so we will we'll conduct that meeting in the covered shelter. So we'll remind everyone next month that in our next our agenda that we'll be meeting in person rather than via Zoom. I believe that's all with regard to the items that we discussed with the executive committee. Are there any comments or questions? Jerry, you're on mute. Jerry, unmute yourself. Thanks.
I have no issues at all with what you just reported.
Okay.
My question really deals with procedure. Are those recommendations coming from the executive committee that should be acted on by the policy committee? And I'm referring to the policy committee and the appointment of legal counsel.
There's no real formal contract. Attorney Donkersloot just gave me a cost of $170 per hour. I mean, so I guess if we want to, if you want to have the board approve that, we can do so.
Well, and I'd make a motion unless people disagree with me. I mean, this is the policy committee.
Sure.
And we should be approving policies.
Okay.
So that they're a matter of record.
Okay.
And legal counsel is really, and at least from a township standpoint, in my past in public service, the legal counsel actually was a representative of the organization.
Sure.
Obviously not the executive director, and we've always had the board approve the legal counsel. And I guess the question is, which board does that? That's really what my question. I got no problem with who you're recommending, or it's more a procedural thing. So
yeah,
that we are proper.
I had the support of the executive committee to approve that, Jerry, both that and the purchase policy. So I just wanted to report to the full board of their decision on both.
Maybe Terry or somebody's been on the executive committee for a while can help me. I thought the executive committee was advisory to the policy committee, but with the new setup, that might be different. Got to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, there he is. We see you.
Oh, wait, now you're muted again.
Can you hear me now?
No, you're good. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think I can't put words in the mouth of all the executive committee members, but I think some of these items are looked at, and in the township is the same way. We look at it as part of the daily business conduction. In other words, things that just are done. We don't bring I'm referring now to the Township Executive Committee. We don't necessarily bring all of those types of items before the board. I suppose it's debatable. Some of these items probably should be, I'm not sure, but the day-to-day business, we look at our manager in the township of being able to conduct those in some freedom with executive committee approval. So I guess these two items we were kind of looking at in that manner. That's the way I would look at them anyway. True, some of this stuff has to come through the full policy board, but some of it I feel does not have to.
Okay, I'm fine.
Thank you, Jerry and Terry. Appreciate it. Any other comments, questions?
Tom Bird here. A question that might complicate things or simplify things. My understanding of the executive committee is it's an advisory board where we have an opportunity to kick ideas back and forth and give the director feedback. My recollection is that the executive committee does not have the authority to vote and make decisions. Otherwise, it would be subject to the Open Meeting Act, which it is not right now. So my recollection of our discussion was this was sort of a run it up the flagpole and see what you guys think. So to the extent of whether an approval is needed or not, I think it would be appropriate for the policy committee to take that action.
All right, well, let's just play it safe and have the policy board take action both on having Attorney Dunkersluth's office represent the MACC as well as the purchase policy. Is there anyone in support or anyone who would like to make?
I would make a motion that the policy committee approve the purchasing policy as described in the executive committee minutes.
Can I get a second on that motion, please?
Kevin seconds it.
All right, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. All right, and then we'll need for someone to make a motion with regard to having Attorney Dunkersluth's office represent the MACC.
Sorry, I make that motion.
Thank you. Can I get a second on that motion, please?
Tom Bird supports it.
Who was the first on that motion?
Jim Story.
Jim, thank you.
Yeah. And who seconded that motion?
Tom.
Seconded by Tom Bird.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you, appreciate it. Any member comments? I have a couple of things I want to address. Carolyn's been working on the Title VI and the LEP plan for the MACC. Both of those documents are located on our website, and they're both posted for public input. Was it a 45-day period?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. 45-day period for public comment. Carolyn will be bringing those documents to the board next month, requesting approval of those. So thank you, Carolyn, for your work on and efforts on both of those projects. And then secondly, you probably read in the Holland Sentinel last week that the MACC was recipient of a grant for $171,000 for watershed Lake Michigan lakeshore cleanup efforts. So I just wanted to thank Kelly for all of her efforts in applying for that grant and receiving that. I know she's off the meeting right now, but she put a lot of effort into that project, and we appreciate her time in that and look forward to seeing the lakeshore cleaned up. Anyone have anything else to add?
Hey, this is Tyler. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey, I made it work. So just real quick, I wanted to provide MDOT update. One, we are off our furloughs now, so now all MDOTers in the state of Michigan is working 5 days a week. For there's still no return to work yet, even though I'm in the office. We're still sorting that out. I think as we move into the fall, we may have something a little more concrete, but again, it's facility by facility. So it might be a little different depending on what region you're in or who you're trying to contact. But that's all I have at this point, unless anybody has any project-specific questions for me.
I would add
All right.
the statewide planning staff in the downtown office, they've indicated that it will likely be end of the year, possibly January, before we return to the office, just because of the logistics of so many people in the building. So we'll be continuing working remotely. I don't think we've had any issues with that, but and like Tyler said, we're back to 40 hours a week. We don't have the furloughs anymore.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Anything else? Any other comments? All right. Well, our next meeting is August, I believe, 24th. We'll send out that meeting invite and let you know that we will be planning on a meeting at Lawrence Park. And I appreciate your time today, and we will see you next month.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you,
Take
everyone.
care.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Tyler and staff.
Thank you.